From aliens to zombies and everything in between, this is Paranormal A to Z.
Hello out there, whoever you are, wherever you are, whenever you are. How are you? Where are you? I think I'm here. And with me, as always, my co-host Austin. How are you today, sir?
I'm here as well, as far as I know.
You feel like you're here.
I'm tangible today?
You're tangible. You're corporeal.
Oh, that's a good thing.
But we're going to be questioning that quite a bit as this show goes on. But first, what do you think about flashlights?
Flashlights, well, they are a dependable tool. Should have one around if the lights go out. Useful for ghost stories, and yeah, that's about it. That's what I got right now.
And the occasional, nighttime car trouble that nobody likes to deal with. But would you fancy a flashlight as an interdimensional tool for stopping the invasion of 8-foot tall hairy men?
Ooh, no, not at all. I wouldn't picture a flashlight doing much good.
Neither would I. But
it would illuminate something I did not want to see.
Illuminate's the real word, and we're going to be diving into that pretty hard today because someone does not agree with your assessment. And
I hate them.
Let's not jump to that conclusion, because today we're talking about one of the most famous legends that encompasses many cultures, many peoples, many different areas in the world, time, space. Sasquatch. One of his names, also known as Bigfoot, Grassman. The list is so long. I don't even want to start listing off the names.
No, it's massive. It's expansive over time and geography. It's impressive.
It's almost universal. It's like every culture has their own sort of Yeti-ish creature.
And there you go. You touched on another name.
That's the Tibetan Himalayan creature.
That's right.
Which more like an abominable snowman.
But still falling under that category of large hominid ape creature that's seen usually in the distance up a mountain slope that you can't quite get to easily and you'll never see again.
Also happens to be impossible to photograph for whatever reason, or at least hold still while photographing it.
Oh, that's true. But this episode, we'll start getting some answers.
Oh, absolutely. But we have to make it clear that we can't encompass everything related to these creatures in one episode.
No.
We're going to narrow it down quite a bit. We're going to specifically talk about the interdimensional Sasquatch. Like the sliding portal moving through the transdimensional Sasquatch, which fascinates me.
No. I think they did a good job of capturing this in the show Sliders.
Is that a sci-fi original series?
No, I think it was on Fox.
Really?
Sliders was on Fox long ago.
Maybe it ended up on Sci-Fi after it flopped on Fox.
Probably. That's where things end up usually when they're not good enough for regular television. End up to Sci-Fi.
There's one exception, which is one of our favorite shows, which is Mystery Science Theater 3000, and that's how I discovered that. But that's a story for another day.
Mm-hmm.
We've done quite a bit of research into these creatures, and frankly, I don't even know where to begin. I think you should guide us, at least initially.
All right. So, listeners, if you could view us, that'd be. So let's go here. We got Sasquatch. All right. So for what we're talking about with this, we're talking about interdimensional Sasquatch. Sasquatch who doesn't live among us on our plane all the time,
but can at points if he chooses to.
Absolutely, at points as Sasquatch chooses. So what we need to eliminate immediately are interpretations of Sasquatch that are he is a wild man living in the woods, which is one interpretation. Sasquatch as a lost missing link, or a hominid that didn't go extinct, or a hominid that was never discovered. We are eliminating that option as well. So those two options off the table, let's go to interdimensional Sasquatch, which is a theory that neither you nor I knew about until you discovered this article by Dr. Matthew Johnson talking about multidimensional portals and Bigfoot dream visions.
That's correct. I often like to poke around in the world of paranormal online because the thing about the internet is that anybody can post anything, write whatever sort of crackpot or scientifically relevant thing that they feel the need to share with absolutely anyone. So I see this article, and it's called The Soha Portal, the Earth is no longer flat. Now, if this were breaking news, I'd have some serious questions for Dr. Johnson. This is a man with a doctorate.
Yep.
He's under the impression that in, I believe, the northwestern parts of Portland, or where he's done the majority of his work, that he witnessed a Sasquatch-type creature in front of a reddish-orange interdimensional portal, almost like a time gate or
a Stargate.
Stargate. I was thinking that too, but another dated show. We'll get back to that. It seems to be under the impression that this is a hyper-evolved interplanar being from maybe not here, maybe it's kind of nebulous at this point, but a creature that is able to telepathically communicate with one another, with other beings,
yep,
to slide in and out of reality.
That's right.
To manifest themselves as a material thing or somehow break and transcend reality. Almost like how light is both waves and particles, Sasquatch is both man and energy, which is fascinating.
Well, I'm glad Sasquatch figured that out. We can't, he has.
We can only one day hope.
Maybe it's the hair.
It probably is. And that was one point that I brought up to you. You would think that, like, a hyper-evolved creature would have discovered the razor by now. Or maybe his fur is some kind of, like, shield against the interdimensional radiation that you have to encounter if you're sliding between realities.
Well, the problem I have with the idea of the interdimensional Sasquatch, even though I shouldn't say anyone's ideas are too far out there not to be believed, because you never know.
Right.
Maybe people are witnessing things and they can't explain them. We can't explain them. So who are we to say whether it happened the way they viewed it or not? It's their own truth. But I just can't wrap my head around Sasquatch being an interdimensional creature.
You would think they started as some sort of corporeal thing that discovered a technology or tapped into reality in a different way.
Well, yeah, I would think that, but if we doing research on just the fourth dimensional dream Sasquatch, I found so many dating back in time when we talked about the initial legends and cultural references. I was looking specifically at North American indigenous groups and their interpretations of Sasquatch, because they have a whole bunch of them. Now, there are issues there with their interpretations or how we interpreted their stories, because I've read some accounts where the story that they say is that scientists or anthropologists or whoever are interviewing them, they are talking about creatures like giants and things of that nature, but they don't directly refer to this is a bipedal, hairy ape that's wandering in the forest. So, I mean, some of these stories are hard to validate, were they actually talking about a Sasquatch? Can't say, but some researchers have interpreted that way.
Right, and I think that's part of the problem of the liberties that these so-called, Squatchin experts, as some of them like to be referred, they like to grab what they believe is the culprit of these stories and just sort of assign it right there. The same way someone have an unexplained phenomena happen to them and immediately think, ghost.
It's a ghost. Can't be anything else. The air couldn't have turned on. A fan couldn't have been blowing. A window couldn't have been opened. It's a ghost.
Right. Or there's just something creepy in the woods, and it's not a bear, it's not a moose, it's not some sort of mutated or just disfigured animal that they hadn't seen before.
Or a pack of otters.
It could be anything. It could be a Pilates machine, it could be Caitlyn Jenner, it could be anything. Who knows? But that's the thing. We're here to be skeptical. We're not here to tell people they're wrong. We're here to look at the evidence and make our own determinations based on a lot of different people's accounts of these things, and we've got a lot to dig into.
Oh, absolutely. And getting back to the Native American indigenous population accounts of this, so if we're looking at the variety of interpretations of Bigfoot by modern Squatch researchers. There are as many indigenous population interpretations of Bigfoot as we have currently.
Oh my gosh.
So, I've read accounts where Sasquatch or a Bigfoot-like creature is viewed as a human. It's a wild man, a person who's gone off into the wilderness, lives alone. He's just kind of become one with nature. He's not accepted. He steals things, steals food, steals women, hunts on other people's lands. He's viewed as a wild man, but he was viewed as human.
Almost like a feral human.
Yeah, a feral human of sorts. And then there are accounts where Sasquatch is a tangible beast that lives in the woods, and it could be, in some accounts it's good, some accounts it's evil.
So there's positive and negative.
Positive and negative, depending on the group you talk to. But then there's a lot of them where I was amazed at Dr. Matthew Johnson's account. I'm like, that's weird. I've never heard of this before. And then digging more into it, a lot of Native American cultures view Sasquatch or Bigfoot as a kind of a spiritual presence.
Oh.
Like they interpret him as like kind of a guardian of the forest or an omen of some kind. When he's seen, something bad is going to happen, or the way things are causing an issue with the balance of the earth.
He's almost there as a reminder or a sign. It's like a spirit animal, I guess you would say.
Something like that. A guardian almost.
That's very interesting.
Yeah. I mean, he was their Captain Planet.
He is our hero. But he's not taking pollution down to zero.
No, but in some cases, people say he wants to.
Well, so he's like almost like a representative for the Mother Earth concept.
Absolutely.
Things are out of balance. I'm going to send my representative, 10-foot tall, hairy beast who's shambling through the woods.
Yeah, and here's a perfect example of that. I'm quoting from this is a website of pre-Columbian early Bigfoot sightings. This was from a Native American from Alaska by the name of Ralph Greywolf.
Great name.
Yeah. And this is what he told a reporter. He said, "In our beliefs, they make appearances at times of trouble to help troubled Indian communities get more in tune with Mother Earth. Bigfoot brings signs or messages that there is a need of change, a need to cleanse."
That'd actually be a pretty helpful reminder if this were in any sort of way reliable. A much better version of. Do you remember the old Microsoft Office and that stupid paperclip would come up and be like, "It looks like you're trying to write a letter," and you were like, "Go away." I feel like some people have the same view of Sasquatch.
Like Sasquatch over in the woods, like, guys, it looks like you're doing some harm to Mother Earth. Go away, Sasquatch. Just reminding you.
If that were the case, though, the rampant pollution that's going on, the way that we've completely manipulated reality as civilized human beings in America or any other civilized place where you have infrastructure and amenities, anything like that, you'd think that would be a disturbance in how the Earth is coming together. So why is he not everywhere?
Well, that could be... Well, some could argue he is everywhere, Zach.
We just can't see him. He could be in this very room with us right now.
According to some people, he can be.
I don't even want to think about that.
Oh, you don't want to think about it, but we're jumping into it.
Oh, my goodness.
But, I mean, it also ties into, when you think about how many sightings there are and where they're seen. I mean, you have, in Ohio here, you have the Grassman. In Ohio, there's a Bigfoot. In the Appalachian areas, there are multiple Bigfoot sightings up and down the coast, in New York, in Pennsylvania, in the Virginias, the Carolinas, all the way down to Florida, where you have the skunk ape sitting in the Florida Everglades.
Could you imagine the smell of that thing down there in that 99% humidity Florida swamplands?
I don't want to think about it. I am.
That's a common thing when Bigfoot is seen. He's got a very powerful, unpleasant odor about him.
Yes.
That's very common in Bigfoot accounts.
Absolutely. It's, you smell him before you see him.
That's like my ex-girlfriend.
Oh, terrible.
My God, I'm sorry. She's
wow.
Listen.
Well, I guess you could vent all that frustration on here, too.
Why not?
But then you go over from Florida, you go along the coast, you have reports in Arkansas, in Texas, along in Arizona, New Mexico, up through California, and then through the Northwest and like Washington, Oregon, and over into Montana and Idaho. I mean, it's seen everywhere.
Right.
There are reports of this thing everywhere. Now, if it is a trans-dimensional being, it would explain why you never find it, or you see it for a brief period of time, and then it seems to vanish. I mean, it could explain the reason why you never find a body of the thing lying around. Now, on the flip side of that coin, it also seems like a super convenient way to say, this is why we never find this thing.
And why we find no evidence of it anywhere.
Exactly. That's why I feel it's more along the lines of the latter.
It's gotta be.
It feels like a convenient excuse to be like, you know what, I believe there are Bigfoots. I can't prove there are Bigfoots.
Is it Bigfoots or big feet? I feel like we need to make that distinction before we start offending the counterculture movement of Bigfoot rights activists, which actually exist.
I have heard of these people. I swear I've seen some shows about them. I've looked it up online. I couldn't find a specific web page.
Which is interesting. You'd think that they would have to, convene somewhere in like the lobby of a Holiday Inn or something.
Absolutely. I can't find a Bigfoot rights activist page. I assume it's there, though I did find something very interesting when I was looking that up. Essentially, if you're in the state of California, you cannot kill a Bigfoot.
There are laws against Bigfoot slaughter?
I think it has more to do with how the law is written. And to quote this, if Bigfoot occurs naturally in the state, then it would be defined as a non-game mammal pursuant to California Game and Fish and Game Code, Section 415. So if it does exist, it would be considered a non-game mammal, and you could not legally kill one in California.
Are you telling me there's actually a legal Bigfoot clause?
I don't think it was written as a legal Bigfoot clause, but if Bigfoot happened to occur naturally in the state of California, you couldn't kill it.
Fair enough. This is a state which contains a city which you are allowed to walk around completely nude as long as you have a towel to place down if you are to sit upon public property, or private for that matter. So let's keep that in mind. This is also a place where I believe it is now illegal to spay and neuter your pets.
Huh.
Yes. If I'm not misremembering that, California is very progressive, and I can appreciate that. Like, that's all well and good. Like, it's thinking forward for the betterment of people and the things that they love. Covering the fact that there's a Bigfoot sighting and that your initial reaction to seeing Bigfoot is take this thing down. I mean, first of all, good luck. Second of all, you're going to jail.
They will make sure you are punished for killing a non-game mammal.
I mean,
regardless. Fictitious creature or not, it is protected.
It should be on the endangered species list. We can't even fucking find one. It's not even endangered. It's not even tangible.
Yes, and that's actually the counter argument of why it is legal to kill them in Texas.
That exists too?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
This article compares and contrasts California to Texas, and why it's legal to hunt Bigfoot in Texas, but not in California.
But you see, isn't that like a wonderful sort of allegory for the way our country is set up? Like the progressive side of California versus the just the complete different world Texas is. I have family in Texas. I've heard quite a bit about this. It's just, man, there's a reason why there's more corporal punishment there than anywhere else. They just do not mess around in Texas.
They won't, and nor will they mess around with a Bigfoot if they find one. You can kill a Bigfoot if you find one in Texas, because it is not listed on the endangered species list.
My gosh, but you've got to believe that there are some hunters down in Texas who are just frothing at the mouth to be the first one to bag and tag a Bigfoot and put one of those stupid pictures where they're holding the dead carcass of their catch next to them, smiling.
Like, I've done it. I finally killed the one elusive creature in history that everyone's tried to see.
That's easily...
And now it's dead.
That's easily 1 million Facebook likes. It's a multi-million YouTube hit. That could crack the billions.
It could.
I think it could. If Justin Bieber could do it, I think catching a Bigfoot... If it doesn't, I'll be sad. But I think it has the potential.
Well, you'll still have the terrible Facebook or YouTube comments.
Oh, of course you will.
Trending at the bottom of it. Be equally as funny as the ones there are now. But, so yeah, I mean, if we're looking at why people can't seem to find a Bigfoot, to kill a Bigfoot, or to capture a Bigfoot, the argument of the interdimensional Bigfoot is, well, the reason you can't is because they can just, at the snap of a finger, move out of this existence.
Do you feel like this is partially like from the same method of thinking for ghosts? Because this sounds like a lot like how people justify not being able to capture a ghost on film or in any sort of way, because that's an extra-dimensional being, and it's debatable whether or not it can exist in our reality, but when it does, it seems to blink in and out. That makes a lot more sense for a specter, an incorporeal thing, previously living deity. Makes a lot more sense, because that's something that's crossed over to another plane. It's left its physical body.
Yes.
So that, while not provable, far more plausible in my mind.
Yes, you're looking at some... Because the idea of crossing over and life after death has to do with the idea of an intangible existence already within us. The idea of a soul. Do we have one? If we do have one, where does it go? And that's where the whole idea of, an afterlife, of spirits and all of that comes from. So it feels more plausible that if you see, like, a ghost may not exist in this world and exists and comes through only at certain times. But the basis of that story and the basis of what ghosts are, they're not a tangible creature to begin with.
Exactly.
They're something different.
It's a manifestation post-manifestation. You were alive, you ceased to be alive, and the energy contained within you has gone to a different plane of existence. That's the basic thinking behind it. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know that people believe that ghosts move within portals, but our good friend Dr. Johnson, believes that these Bigfoot, move within these portals, and that he has found the way to stop them from coming through. Now, why he would want to stop them, question we'll hit afterwards, but reading this account, Dr. Johnson, Portland, out on one of his many Sasquatchan trips or expeditions, he's done quite a few of these, claims to have found a portal and then closed it with his flashlight while he was out in the woods looking around. He's found it. He's figured it out. He's found how you manipulate the unexplainable, a mag light.
Should have known all along.
I know. It was right in front of our faces. But here's where it gets better. Dr. Johnson claims that after this encounter, a Sasquatch came into his dreams and told him that he had disturbed his portal, and that, in fact, any light whatsoever is a disturbance to these portals. Just light in general. Do you see the problem with this?
I do. And I mean, I don't quite understand that. Like, even if I were the one experiencing the dream, wouldn't I question, like, hey, Sasquatch said in my dream, any sort of light closes this portal. Well, what do you mean, Sasquatch? There's forms of light almost everywhere. Like, are you in a place that's exactly void of light?
A complete vacuum.
With no starlight, no moonlight, no infrared light, no ultraviolet light. I mean, if you cross the spectrum, there's light everywhere.
I'm pretty sure light is the reason why we exist. The light, the heat from the sun, contained within the light, is the whole reason why our planet functions, why we're able to respirate and reproduce and oxidize, why water exists. It's responsible for a lot of good things, a lot of things that we may take for granted, but we would not exist without them. And without light, nothing works. And if these portals aren't already made of light, what are they? And if they don't need light and actually only exist in the absence of light, where did these things come from?
That's a terrifying prospect.
It really, this is where your head should go. A skeptical-minded person's head should go to these places. As soon as you hear a claim, because this isn't something that he just brought up to his co-workers, oh, ha, guys, last night I had a crazy dream. Sasquatch came and said that I closed his portals with a flashlight. Now, I've had dreams crazier than that. I've never once taken them seriously, gone in front of groups of people and claimed to have been some sort of Sasquatch expert, and expected people to take me seriously.
No. And you have to realize if you're going to present this information to a group of people, if anyone is going to believe you, it's a group of people who already believe that Sasquatch is a real thing.
Perhaps have had their own Sasquatch experience of themselves.
Absolutely. They're going to be people who are already on your side of this argument. And you're going to present them this delicious piece, this delicious tidbit of info. It'd be like, oh, that's why we can't find one.
Oh, it makes so much sense now. Now I can go back and tell all my friends who didn't take me seriously in the first place. Hey, I've got reasons why not now. Not why. Evidence that you can't disprove what I believe based on what I may or may not have seen. Perfect.
It's perfect. It's flawless. You can't... It's a foolproof counter-argument to people being like, show us the evidence. Show us the evidence. Well, we can't, because the evidence cleans itself up and then disappears into the night.
Oddly convenient, isn't it?
It absolutely is. But Dr. Johnson and his Bigfoot portals, he is not the only person who believes that Bigfoot is an interdimensional creature.
Let's hear about another one.
Okay. Let's see here. We got this story here. Now, this is, if you think that Dr. Matthew Johnson's story is out there, then we're going to step it up a notch.
Oh, fantastic. I already love it.
There was, this is a story I found, it's on the website Cryptomundo, and this refers back to an incident that happened at the Lawrence Livermore National Labs with UC Berkeley staff participated in a study in which in the 60s and 70s they had captured Bigfoot, or multiple Bigfoots.
Many of them.
Yes,
wow.
Multiple Bigfoots. And the story's kind of goofy and funny, but we'll put it like this. So, they capture some of these Bigfoot, and then they're trying to hold them to study them. Well, as it happens, one night, where the first Bigfoot was being held, a janitor went inside to clean out what he thought was an empty room. Turns out, it was not an empty room. The Bigfoot had gone invisible, as they are able to do, and subsequently escaped. It got out of the room. Like Bigfoot went invisible, janitor opened the door, Bigfoot snuck out of the door.
Oh my god. Also, remarkably convenient that this being can just make itself completely invisible. And the shambling janitor with, of course, level 5 access to the secret Bigfoot labs just walks in with his mop and bucket. La-dee-da! Only there's a math problem on a board for me to solve tonight. My god, the incompetence.
We're continuing on. So after it was escaped, they still tried to study it. And how they started studying the fourth dimensional invisible Bigfoot was by... while it was at large, is they would stand in its traveling path and let it walk through them, and they would just kind of experience the sensation of something moving, like if you were dealing with ghosts. The idea, like, hey, I was touched, something moved through me.
Oh my!
And you get that feeling, like, it felt like something just passed through me.
Mm-hmm.
An experience I cannot relate to. I don't know if you can relate to, but I've never experienced anything like that to even begin to describe what that feels like.
No.
But these individuals were doing that. And they just kind of determined that fourth dimensional Bigfoot, he had no ill will towards his captors. He was merely trying to get out of the building.
For what, did he need a snack? Maybe he went back in. How would they know?
They wouldn't know.
Maybe he's still there. Maybe he's just like hanging out, like smoking Bigfoot cigarettes. He's just like, kicking up his feet. He's reading a Bigfoot novel with his Bigfoot reading glasses. He's just doing his thing. He's like, I got free rent now.
But other things that were mentioned in this article, apparently the individuals who were in this lab used the secretaries to help determine when Bigfoot was around, because they are more susceptible to feeling the electromagnetic disturbances of Bigfoot in their presence. Not sure. It doesn't go into why. It just said that's why they did that. Yeah, see, they relied on secretaries to detect where the fourth dimensional Bigfoot was, since they are more sensitive than men and could better sense the electromagnetic cloud that was associated with its presence.
Is it a better idea to use the secretary or to just simply hire a female researcher? Is it really that difficult to find female researchers?
Well, this was the 60s and 70s.
I guess that's a valid point, but even back then they had to... Okay, it's Bigfoot. This is like the find of the century. This is Nobel Prize winning stuff for science. It has to be.
It has to be.
If you get the Nobel Prize nomination going, pretty much just bagged up, probably the win bagged up. You think you can stretch out that funding and reach out and find a female researcher? I think you can. I honestly do. It seems lazy. It seems oddly convenient that they put the secretary in charge of monitoring the mythical beast that they have locked up in their lab.
Susie, is the Bigfoot still here? Yeah.
Are you sure? Oh, yes, I'm very sensitive to Bigfoot. I'm a sensitive person. Have I told you about my niece?
And the article goes on to describe further, pretty much the reason that people can't find Bigfoot is because Bigfoot can go invisible. It exists in the fourth dimension. It doesn't want to be found. So people who are trying to hunt Bigfoot and Sasquatch by modern means with technology and equipment are going to fail from the start. And my favorite quote of this entire article from Cryptomundo is, let's see if I can find it again. So the law of natural selection weeds out those who know about Bigfoot invisibility in the ranks of researchers.
So it's just like over time, it's just Darwinism. Like over time, people will just be less and less susceptible.
Yes.
So because this is going along the line of thinking that Bigfoot is telepathic and can read your thoughts and your motivations. Mm-hmm. And if you are actively trying to find Bigfoot, you will not find him.
Precisely. Or that's not even necessarily the case sometimes, because people will say, I want to find Bigfoot, and Bigfoot, since Bigfoot can also read your minds, will determine if you're good or not, if you're a good person or a bad person. If he knows you're a threat, he won't reveal himself to you. If he knows you're kind of just in the woods alone, hanging out, and you're like thinking to yourself, like, hey, I'd really like to see a Bigfoot, he might reveal himself to you, or telepathically communicate with you, according to some people.
Or come through your dreams, as Dr. Johnson thinks is a possibility, that Dream Sasquatch can just walk right into your pleasant night's sleep and start telling you things.
Hey, I've also had weird dreams. Never, not once, has Bigfoot come to me and told me the reason I'm shutting down his portals or anything along those lines. Though I would like it if I happened to get up one night, used the bathroom, went back to bed and fell asleep, and Bigfoot comes to me very angrily, saying, listen, we were opening up a portal in your bathroom. You came in to use it, turned the light on, ruined everything for us.
You and your incandescent lighting can go to hell. My God.
But in further on this article, because it still continues to get weirder. So quoting the article again from Cryptomundo, I have had close to 10 Bigfoots stand within 10 feet of me. Guess what? They were all invisible, but emitted a sensation of an electromagnetic cloud, as well as some other faint electronic snapping, and they were all peaceful.
And who is he to make this determination?
This man supposedly has had Bigfoot experience. It is when you're having an experience, it is up to you as a person to determine what your experience is and how to convey that to the world.
That's true, and that can go for anything, though. Mm-hmm. But having an experience and then making a claim about the intention of another being, which you barely understand, are two very different things.
Absolutely. And I guess the only reason he said they were peaceful is because they didn't slaughter him.
Maybe they just chose not to slaughter him right then. Maybe they weren't hungry. Maybe they're not bloodthirsty.
Well, maybe, he can probably read the electromagnetic clouds they give off. I don't know how well you can read electromagnetic clouds.
I've stood next to electronic transformers and felt nothing. I'm pretty sure I've created tiny little microscopic tumors in my head from using my cell phone so damn much. Much less standing next to a dream Sasquatch / interdimensional Bigfoot and have his electronic particles slowly tug at mine. That doesn't sound savory.
Well, hey, this guy not only has seen Bigfoot, but he also thinks he had some wood gnomes.
wood gnomes.
Oh, yeah.
Like garden gnomes?
Yeah,
Have we tested this man's blood? Is there any peyote in his system? There
No.
might be.
It might just be made of peyote.
Someone's talking to a cactus.
He's just made of peyote. You've had some great Bigfoot encounters, cactus.
Just standing there like a cactus. I'm picturing Cactar from Final Fantasy, the Final Fantasy series, which is a cactus, which all they do is run away. But they stand with like their hands in front of and behind them. It's like the cartoon motion of like running away. Look up, it's Cactar. Final Fantasy has these things, and apparently they're also very sensitive to Bigfoot, as we have discovered tonight.
Absolutely, I can't see why anyone's not sensitive to Bigfoot. But yeah, so what Dr. Johnson's putting out there isn't the first account, or is just like the tip of the iceberg that we found.
It's very true.
Of fourth dimensional Bigfoot studies.
That's very true.
So and even this guy in this Cryptomundo article, he's very insistent about like, hey, listen, Bigfoot researchers out there, get it right. Bigfoot's invisible and can travel between dimensions. You're not going to find him by normal means.
So we need some pure at heart scientists, is what you're telling me.
You need pure at heart, like one with the earth, who had like almost in the sense of when you're doing a paranormal investigation into ghosts and hauntings, where I'll have some guys who bring like scientific. I try to bring scientific, which is usually a pseudo-scientific way of trying to debunk things, and then they'll bring along a psychic or a medium with them.
Someone who's sensitive to this particular wavelength of energy, which ghosts and transdimensional beings probably exist upon.
Exactly. So that's along the same line of thinking with this. Instead of doing the scientific approach to this, why not bring people who are sensitive to this sort of thing around to see what they can find?
Yes, that's true.
I mean, honestly, all I'm putting together from this is that Bigfoot is a ghost.
He absolutely is a ghost, or he's a time-traveling ghost, like Donnie Darko, kind of.
Ah. Oh, time traveling.
Well, in Donnie Darko, I'm not going to go too far off of it. He had this being. It was a guy, a 6-foot bunny, a guy in a bunny costume. But he was one of the theories of the movie. It's a very confusing movie. Is that Frank, the bunny, is a time traveling ghost who Donnie accidentally kills. He doesn't accidentally kill him. He shoots him, but the ghost travels back in time to ruin Donnie's life. That's one way of interpreting this movie, and it's just I can't shake the visual, like, mental image of a Bigfoot and this bunny being the exact same thing. I'm trying to wonder if the director of that movie loves transdimensional Bigfoot and doesn't want people to take him seriously, so he made it into a 6-foot bunny with a snarling face.
He very well could have.
We'll speculate more on that later.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, I don't know about you, but I find these things absolutely terrifying.
Oh yeah, you're taking something that's already large, powerful, stalking about the woods at night, and now add the ability for it to turn invisible, travel through dimensions, and psychically communicate with you.
Well, next time I go camping, I'm definitely bringing my flashlight along with me.
Well, for other reasons other than just typically walking to go, use the bathroom.
Well, I want to be the hero. And if the Bigfoot comes and he's going to threaten my family, my friends, and my well-being, I want to be equipped with the most powerful police issue mag light I can possibly get my hands on.
I think that'll do it and save the day.
Yeah, that's what we're really here to do, is to save the day. My co-host is Austin. My name is Zach. Ladies and gentlemen, stay weird.
Paranormal A to Z is written and produced by Zach Shanes and Austin Sashko. Not as much written, mostly produced. The opening theme is Ascension by Ruled by Reason. Check them out at facebook.com/ruledbyreason. All cited articles and references will be linked onto a2zparanormal.podomatic.com. You can also access and share the show on our YouTube page. For paranormal updates, articles, and general weirdness, follow us on Twitter at Paranormal A to Z. You know what makes this show possible and keeps our closet stocked with portal-shattering flashlight accessories? You, the listener. the real hero, the investigator of the weird and unexplained. Thank you for listening and supporting the strange. And remember, be as normal as paranormal allows.